way.
Scenarios in my head just to make it interesting.
Being able to.
If I look to you, you will see something differently from yourself. And if you look to me, I will also gain new knowledge just by looking and realizing what we are doing. This is the idea of RAPP Lab. We want to see each other and gain new knowledge. So we are working together with a student from Oslo, with a student from Rome, from Tallinn, from Ghent, from Vienna, from Cologne. And through merging these different perspectives on artistic research together, we will gain totally new knowledge. And this is a very strong basement, I think.
And you'll be, in a way, doing research or embodied reflection. Things like that.
Embodied reflection and embodied research as not this like going to make amazing findings.
We are shifting our artistry, our artistic processes through this reorientating, re-evaluating between like risks, safeties. How can we set up a lab in this time? And now we as a Cologne higher music education institution can decide which format do we want. Do we want to focus on maybe something like embodied reflection, like we did it now? The possibility to do this RAPP Lab now in life and in reality was the best possibility and base we could have for expiring and experiencing this friction, this tension, this being close to each other and not knowing where to go and not knowing what is the next step. We have the 12 apostles in the inner choir of the dome making music for us in stone. From 1290 they are standing above the apostles.
My name is Winfried Bönig. I am a professor for organ playing at the Hochschule and I am cathedral organist here in that building already for 21 years. And no, I will go up and I will play an improvisation because this is the easiest to show as much as possible.
There was something fragile and majestic at the same time, that it's something like really beautiful, like you feel in a way part of like big unity all together, and both in the building, both with the sound of organ.
I think that it's like a door opener for our consciousness, our emotions, our sensibility And so I think this is a good opener for our week.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm so glad that we are now nearly completed. We thought that we already in the train start researching, listening.
But keep track, the one that takes If you could try to listen in, one of the things that you discover now is that it's no surprise when I studied railway stations that sound.
Meine Damen und Herren am Gleis 1, bitte steigen Sie ein. Vorsicht an den Türen und bei der Abfahrt des Zuges.
And noise were important because it's really complex and difficult and noisy and many different layers and echoes.
Wuppertal Hauptbahnhof.
The idea is for people today to use the recorders that they have in a similar way to a microscope or a telescope or binoculars to explore specific sounds but also sound environments around them, and they can zoom in on low noises and sounds, or they can focus on sonic environments, on an atmosphere. Through the recorder they can control how detailed they can hear. They can put the microphone close to a surface and touch and scratch the surface and listen to things happening that way. Or they could try to record other things or just listen to it. So it's not necessarily about recording things, but learning to listen in a more articulated way.
Image in this area, like sort of hearing the slightly different pattern, and this one is like very directional.
It was also very interesting how somehow, like, because you can hear the own sounds that you make yourself, like I would have liked to show which were the sounds that I was making, to show, oh, this is me, this is how I am acting on the space that I'm recording, you know. But that is not that easy, like with when you're filming sound. Like when you film it, you can, I don't know, sometimes film the mirror, so there is the reflection of the camera that breaks a bit and shows, okay, this is actually me, it's, you know, like I'm part of it, and it's, I decide how to move the camera. But with the recording it's not that easy because there's not the image to connect it with.
especially with the Zoom recorder, like the natural panning that you get. Like it's on, you know, when you mix a record and you want it to be, especially when all the musicians were playing at the beginning, I was hearing a trombone in this ear, and as I walked on the stairs, it was in this ear.
Because I was hearing both, so kind of get like a blend of the environmental, like your actual hearing, and then what comes in through the device, like this two set of ears at the same time.
Of course, we are doing this kind of lab today. The experience is on the soundscape, Murray Schafer works, and so for me it's something that I embodied, you know, already.
And I think one of the conclusions I made for myself when I was walking around and thinking, what is the dominant thing that catches my attention, or what is it that actually compels us to listen to something or to look at something? And for myself, I kind of figured that it's probably synchronicity. So whenever something synchronizes.
Or when we make an hypothesis of a dialogue, if I know that I have to meet you, in any case there is some, you know, that I can imagine about, and this produces a sound, also the sound of, you know, my words or your words. I think that is something that can be a metaphor for the respect of each other.
So often we want to be perfect. We want to be really good. Somebody saying, wow, this was really great. You did a wonderful job in your concert. You played so much in tune. You were so much in the flow. You reacted brilliantly. You are such a good orchestra, something like this. But normally we don't get out of this comfort zone. And RAPP Lab suggests that we really go somewhere different and lose our old and daily routines.
So I imagine, like, when the academia was set up, you know, they cut off the ear and they put it in the School of Music, and they grabbed your eyes and they put it in visual arts. They cut the legs and they put them in dance, and the arms, you know, the torso. And you have kind of like a basket full of all your training. You have volume, you have duration, you have rhythm, you have sound stacked. For me, is that music is an intermaterial vibrational practice. We're so trained to think about music in a certain way, and our bodies are so trained to think about music in a certain way. So we're going to try to use that same body to sense music in a different kind of way today.
Stop the traffic!
I would like to ask you to close your eyes and imagine that you are in the forest, but you paid for a concert ticket, so it's...
Please let me taste from your voice. Second in the pleasure of your voice.
For me, embodied means the understanding of how I pass through life with all the means that I have. My mind, my body, my eyes, my senses, my thoughts, my feelings, my past history, and my future dreams.
I kind of connected a lot to it today, actually, like thinking more about more than sound, you know, like and trying to kind of reassign those connections we make when we think of music. Like, yes, it is sound, but it's vibrations and it's feeling and it's opening these other senses.
I really enjoyed watching everyone's own explanations of their pathways, as well as their own perspectives, internally and externally, and the mini performances that they all gave.
Through doing the food exercise, like, I realized a lot of things were linked to music. I kind of put them in this musical order, the way I would do if I was talking about music. So I feel like it's things that are naturally there all along, but we never really give much thought to because we're focused on the sound or the notes or I think it was really interesting.
I don't have any expectations for labs or workshops because I really feel that by not having any, we can go further and explore territory that I didn't expect to explore. I guess so far the only kind of similar thing to expectation would be I hope it goes as smoothly as it has gone so far, and I'm looking forward to discovering new things about all the other people here as well.
So the first thing is that we start without talking, so we get into a mode of listening. So when we just end, then there is the act of I can speak while I walk, so the walk and talk.
Experiences, like not hearing music with our ears, instead trying to live music through our body and all of our other senses. So today, like being on stage, but also moving, not being stuck on my seat, and having the chance to move and to look at the others and react to their movements and move myself. And seeing that the others would look at me, and there was this kind of special interaction between one another, which was something special, really.
We planned this lab here on embodied reflection is because we also have the dancers here and we have music and dance. This is for us another example how music and dance could interact and work together, and which methods could we use to interact and work together.
I I'm mostly working with dancers and people who research on dance in language, and there it's very often fascinating to notice how coded our thinking about language and about thinking itself is. What these kind of projects do is to provide students with a certain sensitivity for a certain medium or a certain practice that they develop in relation with other people with other sensitivities and other practices. Specifically, you find for your own practice the meaning in these encounters. So maybe more movement-based perception of my body while I play, or while I think, or while I write, or while I sing, or while I dance.
Today we were experimenting with the kind of mixture of musical and movement ideas as phrases or fragments and combine them together in two different groupings.
And the idea of copying or mirroring is in the focus. So you start at a position that you decided, and then perhaps you lay down, yes, and you did this. And perhaps my position is this, but I can copy your hand.
I think today to approach movements or dance as fragments or phrases was a good reminder itself to actually be in that role myself as a dancer.
Well, we were told to do some homework, bring a small motif, which was precisely the one that I played at the session. When you play an instrument, and I do a lot of free improvisation, then sometimes some gestures kind of stick to your fingers. I don't know, for me it was kind of working motives and development as you would have in a compositional context, but expanding that into the body, beyond the instrument, but like really physical gestures, like theatrical, performatic, apart from the instrumental or the sonic output. So yeah, a different perspective.
So the most important thing I suggest was of this week is that we all trained us in overcoming our comfort zone, going beyond it, finding something new, looking at something we normally do every day, but looking on it in an unfamiliar way. And this needs trust, taking the risk, being able to know and realize that you are in a safe space. And this is not self-evident. Beat is very important, that you stay in the beat.
About speaking a little bit about space and creating space for the participants and for the teachers and the learners. And it's not only space in the sense of room, so to give them a room where they feel comfortable, but also about space in the sense of time. And it's not only for the lab that we are doing at the moment, but also coordination for all the 7 partner universities and the RIC that are coming together. And that is the interesting thing of this project, because it's an EU project and we get so many different communities and so many different institutions from all over Europe, and the different attitudes and the different methods and thinking, and that is really great and exciting to bring them together.
This week was extremely inspiring for me, and for several reasons that all have already named before, but I especially want to name the special atmosphere and this kind of safe space that was created.
I think I remember also the first day when we had the walk and talk. It was like when I was walking with someone and they were walking like in the opposite direction as me. And we realized that, okay, there is not one way to walk, because if you know the space is safe and you see that, okay, you don't have anything in the back, you can still walk backwards. You just have to trust it.
One of the most astonishing parts was the discovering of the body, the awareness of the body, and seeing my body within the eyes and the movement of the other participants.
I still don't know where to put all the things that I've learned in my life, but I know that I will put them somewhere, and it will be one of my next challenges to understand where to put them.
movement.